talk about it. Real truth and power. Health. Wealth. Knowledge of self. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about it.
Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. We got a phenomenal show. I have the phenomenal author, a powerful author by the name of Brother James Wilson. You guys are going to love this information. But you know how we do it. Before we start the show, let's get into the intro.
You are now tuned in to Real Truth and Power, the show that uplifts the community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Here's your host, Everett Winchester.
Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. Thank you for tuning into the Real Truth and Power Live podcast. My name is Brother Everett, and again, we're here to provide you with powerful content to uplift the Black community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Before I introduce my guests, please do me a favor. Please share this information. Hit the subscribe button. We want to get this information out to our community, to our culture, because it's very important. It is very important that we get this information out. So do me a favor if you can, hit that subscribe button. And let me bring in my guests. In fact, before I bring in my guests, I got to pay the bills real quick. One of our sponsors for the month, Black Owned. Here we go. All right, so now let me bring in our guest for this evening, Brother James Wilson. Brother James, you there, my brother?
I'm here, good brother. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. I know we've been trying to do this for a minute. I'm very excited to get you on here. Not many people do books and do the type of books that you do with the teaching that's inside of it. But before we get into it, give the people a little brief description about you and what you're all about.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for allowing me to come on your platform and discuss my works and the things that I'm about. But my name is James Wilson. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm relocated to Atlanta, Georgia now. I'm a member of the prestigious Universal Negro Improvement Association, UNIA Division 421, here in Atlanta, Georgia, where Brother John Hargrove is our president. And yes, like you're showing, I am the author of several children's books. My first children's book is titled Teach Me About Garvey, which is a brief introduction to the legacy and some of the achievements of the most honorable Marcus Garvey. My second book is Red, Black, and Green. Tell me what it means. It's a poetic ode to the red, black, and green flag, what it means, and the obligations for all African people. And my third book is Teach Me About Malcolm, which is an introduction to Malcolm X for Black children. And I wrote these books, Brother Everett, to bring the history and culture to our children that's purposely left out of the educational system, because they have to be informed in a proper way. They have to be informed in a warlike way to solve the problems that we have.
Well, before I get into the books and what inspired you to put this information out there, the way you did it with books, what gave you the idea to even think about writing books instead of there's so many different ways you can do it. What gave you the idea to say we need to have books?
Well, yeah, I use my own personal life. When I was about 25 years old when I learned about Marcus Garvey. And I had never heard about Marcus Garvey before. And when I heard about him, I thought it was a lie. I thought it was made up. I'm like, surely you don't have a man of this caliber doing those type of things, and we didn't know about him.
Right.
So many people from up under Garvey. It's like this can't be real. But once I learned it wasn't just Garvey, but many others, I realized that, and then me being a parent myself, having children of my own, I saw firsthand that they are purposely leaving things out of our education that needs to be covered. So what I decided to do was put my money where my mouth was, and instead of complaining, I went ahead and created some content in the form of literature so that our children would have the necessary information to begin to sculpt their perspective in the necessary way going forward to tackle our problems. So that's what really made me want to do the books. Books are something that's widely accepted. And Brother Everett, like books are the gifts to keep on giving.
That's right.
You take this book right here. You might give this to your 7, 8, 9-year-old. That's something they can pass on to their children in 20, 30 years, So I wanted to make something that wouldn't die and that they could continue to use and that could be passed down from generation to generation. Because what it really is, Brother Everett, is an investment into our children's mentality. So that's what made me go ahead and put it in the form of books.
I'm glad you did that because one of the things we're doing, and I'm glad you shout out to the Atlanta division. That means a lot to me. That's actually what introduced me to the UNIA, Brother John, the president, and the former president, Brother Ross Marvin. So we always got to give love to them. In our Baltimore division, we're starting a college recruiting process. And I went up to first the community college in Baltimore, and none of the students knew about Marcus Garvey. I was like, what? So I went to Coppin State University. It's at HBCU. And nobody knew about Marcus Garvey. And I was kind of like, wait a minute, I'm going to run into somebody. They was like, I heard a little bit about him, but no, I don't know anything about him. I went to Morgan State University. These are known HBCUs. No one knew about them. They did know about the flag, but they didn't even know the flag came out of the UNIA. They thought it was like I was like, no, that flag is the official flag of the UNIA. We introduced that flag. And so I was really hurt, you know what I mean? I went back to our members and I was like, man, we got a lot of work to do. We may need to go back and start into the high schools and so forth. And that's when I thought of you because you're starting the right way with the youth. Talk about the dangerousness of Marcus Garvey. Why don't you think they're talking about Marcus Garvey in our school system?
Man, Brother Everett, that's a loaded question, bro. Garvey was one of our few voices who reattached us to a geography, who reattached us to a geographical location outside of our current location that showed the ultimate promise. And not even just the showing of the promise, but Garvey obligated African people around the world to uplift Africa, to uplift ourselves. What made him dangerous? Garvey showed black people, Garvey showed black people how to fall back in love with being black. And that's very dangerous in a place that rests on our insecurities and disdain and hatred for ourselves. You have a man comes up that's a black man, black as can be, showing black people why it's beautiful to be black. And now, not only that it's beautiful to be black, that it's purposeful in being black. So Garvey showed us how to fall back in love with ourselves. And another thing that made him dangerous was Garvey showed us we don't need anybody.
That's right.
And to have a voice like that, and mind you, Garvey was a powerful figure. You know, he had a powerful voice, a powerful presence, and oral skills. Marcus Garvey showed that black people were the true curators and captains of our own destiny,
Right.
for lack of a word. So to have a figure like that could spark the ingenuity and the intent in the minds of millions of African people all over the world, and galvanize them at the same time, that's a deadly person. And then he's sparking minds that, who would create movements on after him. So black children have to know, and see, and the reason again why I do it as a children's book, we have to catch black children at their most impressionable ages,
Yeah.
where their mind is very sponge-like and can internalize this and normalize it. Normalize wanting to be the say-soers of our own destiny and sojourn in this world, and normalize connecting with and uniting with other African people around this globe to further advance ourselves to the places that we must go. So that's just one reason why Marcus Garvey was so dangerous. And not dangerous to black people, but dangerous to our enemies, dangerous
right.
to the white man, dangerous to the Asian. He's so dangerous, he signals to our enemies that we understand that Africa and the unity amongst African people will trump everything else. So that's another reason that made him so dangerous. And these people, Brother Everett, are bloodsuckers, and they prey on our ignorance and lack of information, lack of unity, and lack of value of ourselves. Something else that Garvey brought. Garvey showed you the value in being black. I should have touched on that earlier. He showed you the value of being an African person and showed you the capabilities and what we can and what we must do, and showed you that we're the only ones standing in our way. So that's why Garvey is dangerous, and that's why you can't have an educational system that teaches black children about Marcus Garvey, because what it will ultimately do is undo the damage that they've caused us. So that's why Garvey is so dangerous. But you getting me started, brother.
Hey, brother, you got my blood flowing, and that was a phenomenal answer, man. That was a phenomenal answer. What you said about Marcus Garvey, and people don't know he was the first one that they started doing the COINTEL with. They had to really not only eliminate this brother, they had to kind of disrespect his name, put shame on his name, because what he was saying was so powerful. They had to leave doubts in people's head that this is impossible. He was the Black Moses. He was definitely the Black Moses. And I'm glad that was your first book, Teach Me About Garvey. But I believe you said the second book is the Red, the Black, and the Green. That powerful flag, August 13th, Marcus Garvey, our great ancestors in the UNIA, in that month-long convention in 1920, introduced the flag the same day as the Declaration of Rights of Negro Peoples of the World. But get into that red, black, and green a little bit in the book. This is powerful. The info you got out is powerful, my brother.
Right. So to go back early in the conversation, you talked about how people, even on college campuses, didn't know Marcus Garvey. Well, when it comes to this flag, a lot of us see that flag and don't really understand its true inception. We know it's supposed to mean Africa, but we don't know and understand what the colors themselves truly represent. This is a flag, Brother Everett. The reason I did this book is because this is a flag that connects all African people, no matter where you are in the world, whether you're in North America, in the United States, or whether you're in Canada or Mexico, on to the Caribbean, even in India, uh, some of the South Pacific islands, wherever there are African people, this flag brings us together. The red, which stands for the blood that runs through the African veins, and the blood that was shed during our times of conflict with our enemies. The black, which is our biological name tag, the beautiful badge of greatness, like Brother Marcus Garvey said, and the green reattaching us back to Africa. Dr. John Henry Clark said that Africa is the one place in the world that everybody wants a piece of but don't want to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus Garvey showed us that this is your place. No matter where you are in the world, this is yours and it will forever be your obligation. So that's something else that Black children have to understand. We belong to something that's bigger than us. And
Right.
when you introduce that to them when they're young, it'll give them a different sense of pride. It will show them their importance in this world, not just America, not just in Haiti or Brazil, but the entire world. It shows you and attaches you to a global African community. And it shows Black children. What I attempt to do is to show Black children not only of our obligation, but the greatness that we come from and the greatness that we are to experience if we come together and come together in meaningful ways, not just in practice and in the verbalization, but coming together in meaningful ways. One thing in the book I talk about the African hair. You know, with a lot of our young sisters, you know, they go to buy these wigs and put different items and products into their hair. African hair is the only hair that grows up towards the sky. That's something to be proud of. That's something to be uh that's something to thank God for. You know, no other people's hair can do that. And so it's these type of things and this type of communication that I choose to relay to Black children, to show them that we are part of something so great, and to never not be proud of that, but to unite on those terms and for those terms to uplift and uphold Mama Africa.
Man, this is just powerful information, brother. And I love the way you're doing it, because we have to, like you said, we have to start with our youth, the babies. And if we can introduce this to them now, you know, a lot of people always ask me, what do I think is the most important part that we need in the Black community? And I say education. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Garvey says, you know, that be patient when you're teaching our people were uneducated. You know, we've been Christianized. We've been just so much that slavery mentality that we had. And to overcome that, we have to go back to the roots and give them a better understanding of ourselves. And it's just powerful that you broke that down. And of course, the flag, you know what I'm saying, and how it attaches to the UNIA. It's just really meaningful. Marcus Garvey, the thing he loved probably more than anything is that great UNIA. And a lot of people don't even know that flag is the UNIA flag. You see a whole lot of other, and it's fine. A lot of these other organizations use it. But it hurts because they don't understand. They're not teaching the true origins of that flag. People don't know about Marcus Garvey, but they know about the flag, which is crazy. It's just really crazy. But I want you to go into your new book, and this bad boy, I mean, in the good, man, I don't know who manufactures your books, my brother, but we got to get these books into the school system. Everything is strong material, one paperback, but these two are hardcover books, man. Teach me about Malcolm. What inspired you to go from Marcus Garvey, the red, black, and green, and then on to Malcolm X?
Well, it's one of those things. Malcolm was a child of Garvey, and you know, all these books come from my personal experiences. Malcolm was important to me because for two reasons. When I was a little boy in kindergarten, I was only 5 years old. My mama came and got me out of school. This was 1992. She came and got me out of kindergarten, took me to go see the Malcolm X movie. I didn't understand how big it was that time. I didn't know who Malcolm X was.
Wow.
Anything about him. However, seeing that movie and knowing that I was taken out of school to go see that, my mother actually did what I'm trying to do now. She took me out of the school and took me to where the knowledge was and introduced me to Malcolm X. I came back to school, and for the rest of my days, people didn't know who Malcolm X was, but I did.
Right.
Malcolm X, another reason I chose Malcolm X. Malcolm X was one of the only people after Garvey who again showed us, and when I always have to say this too, Brother Everett. When I say Malcolm, I try my best to incorporate the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was another child of Garvey, who's somebody else that came out of the movement. But with Elijah Muhammad's program, Malcolm X showed Black people in the United States how it's valuable in being Black. And being that we are the special, unique people that we are, we can control our own destiny yet again. Malcolm also was an example of discipline. I don't think, so let me go back again. I'm all over the place.
No, you flowing, brother, but go ahead. You flowing.
So when I go to the schools, right, when I go to these children, when I talk to these babies, I ask them, I say, who knows who Marcus Garvey is? No hands go up. I say, who knows who Malcolm X is? No hands go up. I say, who knows who Martin Luther King is? All the hands go up. Mm-hmm. Who knows who Barack Obama is? All the hands. I even get spicy with them. I say, who knows who Beyonce is? Oh, they really go up then. I say, who knows who Lil Baby is? And Lil Durk. Now they amped and active. Now they smiling and starting to sing and rap. You know what I'm saying? But that just goes, it's a good reminder to me and shows the gauge of their importance. And so again, we have to be the ones while they at that age to show them what is important, help them prioritize importance. I don't have a problem with them knowing those musicians, but you gotta know Marcus Garvey.
That's right.
You gotta know Malcolm X, a child of Garvey, was the prime example of how discipline can change your life. Now, Elijah Muhammad's program, he did a lot with it, but that discipline was within Malcolm. And so Malcolm, it's important to show Black children how being disciplined and doing what you don't feel like doing when nobody is looking can and will propel you and will put you into a different realm to accomplish the certain type of things that you want. And on a collective basis for our people, showing you how to accomplish what our people need. Malcolm X was so pivotal, Brother Everett. What Malcolm was trying to do was pick up where Garvey left off. He had a process, from his younger days to his criminal life to prison. Then he joins the Nation of Islam, takes that movement to one of his zeniths. Then after he leaves, departs from the Nation of Islam, how he reversed back to those Garveyite roots of his and bringing Black people back to an awareness of our brothers and sisters on the continent and around the world, and how really this is going to be the way to bring ourselves true deliverance out of oppression. Malcolm, in his latter days, how he sounded like Garvey, talking about the universal Black economic system and how we have to separate from the white man and so many different things. But here again, these are the type of figures that are purposely left out of schools. And I even go further, Brother Everett. It's not that they just left out of schools. You have some parents who are scared to touch on that type of ideology with their children. You know what I'm saying? Because they're in fear of castigation of their children or their children being treated differently. But we are unique people in a unique circumstance, and it's men like these and women like Sojourner Truth and the real Harriet Tubman and Yaa Santiwa and Nzinga and Winnie Mandela. You have to touch on figures like those because the problems that we face require the type of solutions that only they will offer. So that's another reason why I picked Malcolm. One thing in my Malcolm book that's different from most children books that I've seen is I show in the Malcolm book how white people are responsible for a lot of the hell that we receive even to this very day. And it's important that Black children have a racial consciousness. And I'd be doing a disservice to Malcolm if I didn't highlight the white man and woman in their true light. So that's something else that's very different about my book on Malcolm than other books on Malcolm you'll see. There are some books on Malcolm X. I know his daughter wrote one, and there's some others. There are a few books on Malcolm for children, but this will be the only one. And hopefully I'll spark others to do the same. But this is the only one right now that puts the white man's feet to the fire and
Oh,
shows where a lot of our problems originate and how we have to deal with the white man going forward. And it doesn't seem that's not palatable for many when we're talking about our children's education, but we sold out so many generations, Brother Everett, trying to
yes.
show them go along to get along, and if we just learn to love everybody, everything will work out. And sadly, that's not the case. We've tried that and we failed. So we have to bring back. We have to resurrect Garvey. We have to resurrect Malcolm. We have to resurrect Asante Wine, Winnie Mandela, and show our children that, hey, this is the pathway out to get out of this hell that we're experiencing in this world.
Man, you flowing, and a lot of people don't know, and it's fun, and I'm just loving how you flowing, my brother. A lot of people don't know Malcolm's roots with Garvey. His father was a president, I believe, of the UNIA division in Detroit. I know he was a member. His mother was heavily involved in the UNIA. So his parents, when he used to watch his father on the pulpit, you know how they used to do back in the day after church, they had the UNIA meetings. So his father was a Garveyite, which he really idolized. And Elijah Muhammad, when he built the nation, a lot of the foundation of the nation came from the UNIA. How they have the security, the UNIA had the African. Well, we have the African Legion, and so forth, and how things are set up. So Garvey played a powerful part in some of the greatest organizations that are here now. And it's just crazy how you broke that down. And this book is really powerful. I gotta ask you before we close out, how can we, as a family, as a nation, help you get these books out to our people? What do you need from us? Is it networks? How do we get you into the schools, and or at least into some more bookstores? How can we get you on this book signing campaign? What do we need to do to get these books out there? Because these are powerful, my brother, powerful.
It's simple, brother. Everybody, you know what I mean? Go buy it. You can go onto my website, mrbookshelf.com. That's M like mama, R like Ruby, bookshelf.com. They're on there. Malcolm, by the time this airs, Malcolm won't be out until December the 9th. So December the 9th, the Malcolm book will be available. The other two are available now. But buying, getting these books in these children's hands is the imperative. And whether that's you going to buy it, going to your local library requesting it, going to bookstores and requesting it, we have to create a demand for an investment in our children's minds. And that's something that rests solely in our hands. So
that's the right website, MrBookshelf.com?
Oh, yeah, mrbookshelf.com. M like mama, R like Ruby, bookshelf.com. They're also available on Amazon, too. You can go to Amazon and purchase them, because I know a lot of people use, a lot of people have Amazon gift cards and things like that. So you can get them on there as well. But and then there are several black bookstores that have it. But if you live in an area that doesn't have it, request it. You
That's
can
right.
and you can call and ask them, hey, do you have Teach Me About Garvey, Teach Me About Malcolm? No, you need to get it, because black children have to have this type of information if they're to have the type of knowledge base needed to tackle, like I said earlier, I keep saying, to tackle the issues that we have ahead. And then when it comes to black children's identity, Dr. John Henry Clark was famous for saying the name of a people should reflect land, history, and culture. And all three of these books, especially Red, Black, and Green, does that. So black children have to understand that they are part of a global African community that's for a global cause, and we have a global unity that must be achieved to tackle those. So yeah, very simple, brother. Every day, if we can all get out and buy it, go to my website, go to your local black bookstores, go to Amazon if you must, and request those too.
Before I let you go, I know you mentioned everything about Marcus Garvey, the Malcolm X, but you mentioned you were a member of the UNIA. Talk about the Atlanta division of the UNIA and some of the things you're doing and how they can get in contact with you guys if they're interested in joining.
Yes, yes. So I'm the youth coordinator and social media coordinator of UNIA Division 421 here in Atlanta. Here in Atlanta, like I said earlier, our president is Brother John Hargrove, former president Brother Ross Marvin. We have good leadership. What we're trying to do now, we get new blood in the organization. What we're trying to do is really get entrenched in the community, really establishing some ties there and creating different avenues and programs to engage, not only just engage the community, but uplift the community. Right now, we're going to be doing something every Tuesday at the Omanala Griot Museum here in Atlanta, and it's just a way to get the community in there and to let them know that what we're also engaging with different Black businesses. We have vendors, and even if they're not vendors, we're trying to create a circulation of cooperative economics in the Black Atlanta community, just like Mr. Garvey would have had it. But purpose-driven economic relations. So that's what we're doing now, and we're getting young blood in now. I'm 35. We have our good brother Omasius, like I said, brother John, and many others who are really doing the work out here, not just professing it online, but doing the work in the community. However, I have created a presence for us online via social media. We're on Instagram now, UNIA 421 ATL. UNIA 421 ATL. We're on Facebook, UNIA Division 421, and we also on the cbpm.org / I believe Atlanta Division. But I think you can go to cbpm.org and search for us there. But yeah, we're doing our part. We're really trying to bring the message and the ideals of Marcus Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association to the people, because we operate, just like Brother Everett, we operate as a world government, a universal Black government. And so we're trying to show our people a different approach to advancing as African people around the world.
Man, you were powerful, my brother. I want you to just close out for me. Just give the people a little message, just encouragement going forward for our people. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Black children are our future, and the way it stands now, we are on a steady death march. And if we are to correct that, we have to put the tools and resources and create the necessary environment for our children to change that, to turn out of our backward ways and progress forward. So let's make sure all parents, grandparents, educators, or just anybody who's concerned about the future of Black people, African people, I would appreciate if you put my books in their hand, but just make sure that we are normalizing, prioritizing our interests as a people and our advancement as a people. So that's what I would leave you with. Follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at James Writes 615. That's James WRITES 615. I'm on Facebook under James Wilson Writes. You can reach me there. Again, my website is mrbookshelf.com. That's M like Mama, R like Ruby, bookshelf.com. And I'm around. So any way you can send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. It doesn't have to be about the books, just anything. But whatever we have to do to advance Black people, that's what we need to be on. And my path is starting with the children.
Brother James Wilson, I love you, my brother. Thank you so much for getting this. I know it's been hard because, man, we both busy doing the UNIA. We both got lives, but, so I know it's tough, but we finally got it done. And I just love you and your commitment to our people, my brother. So thank you again.
I appreciate it, brother. Much love, man.
You know it. Race first.
Race first.
Man, what did I tell you? That was a powerful interview from a powerful young author, Brother James Wilson. Please support his books. And that's why we made the title of the show, Teaching What's Not in Schools with Author James Wilson, because we need to get that information out. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Real Truth and Power podcast. Please, again, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, share this information out. It's very important that we get this powerful information out. This brother is writing children's books about Marcus Garvey, the red, black, and green flag, Malcolm X, but not the same old typical stuff. He's going in real with it, and he's telling us what we need to do to uplift, and he's giving this model to our kids. So if you know anything about that RBG flag and the UNIA, you need to get these books. But if you don't, you really have to get them. And I'm going to let you guys know something. The best information to learn is children's books. To start, whatever you do, start with the elementary stuff. So if you don't know anything, don't look at this book and say it's a children's book. Look at it as it's the beginning steps to my knowledge. And that's where I start with all my stuff. I start with children's books, you know, to give me the basics of how I can go. And then I may go into like Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben or anything. But it starts with the basics, the elementary. And this is powerful. So, and then another powerful podcast, family. We are out of here. Stay tuned for our next show. And again, we out. Real Truth and Power, y'all.